I'm the president of Inspiration Ministries. I'm a resident of Lake Geneva. I also have Merrick Fell here with me. He's our Director of Development at Inspiration Ministries. And so we're here to present on a project that Inspiration Ministries has been working on for the last year or so. So just for some quick background about Inspiration Ministries, our headquarters are located on the corner of Highway 67 and County F in Walworth. We've been there on that property for about 55 years. We're a 70-year-old nonprofit organization that's dedicated to serving people with disabilities. We've done that for most of those years by way of providing residential opportunities for people with varying types of disabilities, ranging in age from, at this point today, about 24 years old all the way up to 85 years old. Different types of disabilities, physical disabilities, and developmental disabilities. So we really run the gamut. I've been at Inspiration Ministries for about 3 years now, and in January it'll be 3 years. And when I got here, we were in a place where financially the organization was really struggling. So job number one when I got here was to turn the organization around, to strengthen it financially. And so we worked really hard at doing that, had to make some tough decisions, but we've done that. So now, 3 years later, we're in a position where we're stronger financially, and we're looking at the future, considering how we can meet the needs of people with disabilities today, because the needs of people with disabilities today are different than they were 70 years ago. It's a different world. Legislation is different today than it was many years ago. Expectations of people with disabilities and their families is different today than it was those years ago. So we embarked, again, about a year ago on a journey of figuring out how we can remain relevant in a changing world. So first of all, what we're doing in Walworth will continue. We're going to keep providing residential opportunities as we have for all those years to people in really that come from, I think, 16 to 18 different states that live at our Walworth campus. But as we've gotten stronger financially, we've been looking at what are the trends out there, what do we want to respond to. And a couple of the things that we noticed were that work for people with disabilities, for students that are nearing graduation, and even for adults, finding work, finding training and coaching and services that are going to help them be successful in the workplace are hard to come by. Waiting lists are long. These are tough problems to solve. So it's a tough issue to try to crack. So work, employment, training, those are things that we were looking at. And as well, legislation has been turning in the direction of providing, of encouraging integration into the community for people with disabilities. So with all those things said, we looked at different types of opportunities that we could look at to meet some of those needs. And to make a long story short, obviously why we're here tonight is to tell you a little bit about Inspired Coffee, a coffee shop that Inspiration Ministries will be opening in April of next year. We have the space, we have a lease in downtown Lake Geneva at 883 West Main Street, the old Caribou Coffee and Pete's Coffee building. And so we will be opening a full-service coffee shop in downtown Lake Geneva and really focusing on training and coaching and preparing people with varying types of disabilities, preparing them for the workforce. So we're in the process right now of figuring out what's that niche of individuals with special needs that we can help, because there are 6,300 people in this county that have identified themselves as having a disability. We can't possibly help all of them, and so we're trying to figure out what that sweet spot is for us. But suffice it to say, we'll be looking at individuals with both physical and developmental disabilities. And it really is, the way we've been describing this is that the coffee shop is really the means, and the training and the coaching is really the purpose, and that's really what we're working on putting together. So we have a committee of people from around the county, including Roger Wolf from Lake Geneva, Rita Guilefus from the Elkhorn Area School District, Merrick Fell, our Director of Development. We have a couple of staff members from Inspiration Ministries. We have Paul Meckler, who works with Oak Fire Restaurant, and John Neighbors, who owns Boxton Burlap Coffee Shop in Williams Bay, who are helping us put this together. So we have a team of people who are experts in their own field who are helping put this together, because we are not coffee shop experts. we are experts in providing services and training and services for people with disabilities, but we've surrounded ourselves with the right people to put together this plan, and we've been gaining really significant momentum. We've seen individuals come to support this effort financially, because we are trying to raise $400,000 in startup funds. And we had originally set December 31st to raise all those funds, and within the first few months of our fundraising, we're already at $325,000 in gifts for this project. So we are well on our way to being able to have all of the startup funds that we need to make this happen. So those startup funds will be going for the first couple months of the lease, pay our general manager, who we hope to have start in the next couple of months, also for renovation of the space and some other reserves that we're putting in place for this program. We have been really cautious to put together a financial model that's conservative, one that doesn't make crazy assumptions, but is really based in the experience of people who are on our committee and others that we've tapped on the shoulder to provide input to us. So we feel really comfortable with the numbers that we've put together, and really excited also that we've been able to leverage state funding for this through some agencies that are going to help us in terms of paying the wages for a time of the individuals who we will be employing. So it's a social enterprise. It's also something that is benefiting from state funding as well. So excited to have that funding as well to make this happen. Our training program is really a 12-month program. There will be individuals who we would expect would want to work at Inspired Coffee for forever. And certainly on the front end, we want to be able to assess people to determine what their goals are in terms of where they want to go with their lives. Do they want to stay in a coffee shop, or do they want to find employment in some other place? So we will make sure that we are putting the right people into our program that are really a good fit for our business model, and also helping individuals to transition into the community. But it's really a 12-month training program, and so we're developing a continuum, a program, a system to be able to work people through that process. And again, towards the end of the training program, we will be working with state agencies to help with that transition period, to make sure that the individuals who we will have trained will be prepared to transition into other workplaces around the community. So we're developing partnerships with local businesses who will ideally hire the people that we're training, and they'll be hopefully ready-made for any environment or many environments in Lake Geneva, in the surrounding areas, to be able to provide a viable workforce for them, for those businesses. We will be, within the coffee shop, the individuals who we will be training and employing will be working as baristas. So they'll be making your coffee, they'll be preparing your smoothie, they'll be serving you the baked goods that we'll be selling at the coffee shop. They will be serving as cashiers, they'll be serving as greeters, and as other positions are developed as we move forward, they'll be serving in those capacities as well. Built into our model, we do have a support system, and our training component is really built on the fact that we'll have what we're calling talent development managers, who are basically shift leaders, who will be providing that training and that coaching of these individuals over that period of time that they're with us. So it's a very intentional learning on hard skills and soft skills, so that, again, they're prepared in every way to be able to transition into other places of employment around the community. So that's essentially our program that we've developed, and I would be happy to answer any questions that anyone may have for us, if there are any.
Yes, are you working with Lakeland School at all?
Yeah, we have reached out to Lakeland School a number of times, and I just did a presentation for their parents a couple of weeks ago on Inspired Coffee, and we expect that they will be inviting their students to get involved in our program. There will be a process to go through for each person. It's going to be like an application process for individuals, but yes, we've reached out to Lakeland. to be
Lakeland
part of this.
School already has a coffee shop, so they know what they're doing.
Yes, we've talked to Badger as well, and they're starting a coffee shop in Badger, and so we're developing a way that we can, once the students at Badger have been prepared in their coffee shop at Badger, that they would then transfer over to what we're doing at Inspired Coffee. So the hard work right now is really building that referral network. So we're talking with VIP, we're talking with Lakeland School, with a lot of different other organizations and schools locally to make them aware of what we're doing.
Great. Yes.
I think Paul had mentioned that you're gonna be using a local roaster for the coffee.
Yes.
Which I think is great, and that he mentioned too, that you're really focusing on it to be a very good coffee shop that is gonna be a part of the community with some community spaces where you can maybe rent out rooms type of thing, or
Right.
so I like that it's more of a community type of environment, and that because there will be good coffee products there, that it's not just going to be a novelty where people just wanna make donations, that it's going to be a business that we wanna support.
Right. You know, one of the things that we're hoping to do with Inspired Coffee, this is kind of in addition to providing the training and coaching, it's really about changing the conversation about people with disabilities. So when you come into this coffee shop, it's not about feeling sorry for people that, you know, are serving you your coffee, but isn't this a cool place that's actually doing something to solve a problem in our community? So that's really what we expect will be the outcome. We haven't gotten too far ahead of ourselves, but we believe that this could be something that could be multiplied and duplicated in other places. And we're certainly not the first that have ever done this, but there's a need for it, and we've heard from people in the community that have said that this is extremely unique and something that the community needs, and that society is really ready for it today, with all the conversation about diversity and inclusion and so on.
Any other questions? I think it's a great thing. When did you say you were gonna be open?
April of next year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.